The Breath of the Wild divine beasts are really cool and creative, but they never really interacted with each other. One question that I had was, what if they fought each other? So I think I'm going to divide this video into two main parts, one being a little bit bigger than the other. The first is setting the stage for the battle, and the next is the big clash of the divine beasts. I think let's start with the setting the stage. Now I think that this can be divided into three main points: location, mobility, and abilities. I think that this can really show the pros and cons of each divine beast and can really set the stage for the battle. Now, let's do location. Now first, Divine Beast Vah Ruta. It has a nice landscape with some rivers and hills. Hills good for cover, and the river is its only way of travel. So, I mean, it's pretty good knowing that it can use the hills for cover, and if the water is deep enough, it can maybe hide there for a bit and maybe disguise itself while the other Divine Beasts fight. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, it's alright. It's connected to the rest of Hyrule though, which allows it to escape the Lanayru region if it needs to. Next is Divine Beast Vah Rudania. Now it basically curls around the Death Mountain, so it could get some cover just like the mountains. So if something's gonna fire at it, it can move around behind the mountain and kind of position itself in a way that the blast won't hit it. Also, I think that the Death Mountain climb, it has many jagged peaks which could be used for maybe a surprise attack or just to take cover fire. Next, Divine Beast Vah Naboris. Now this one, it is positioned into the Gerudo Desert, which is very flat where you can see all the Divine Beasts around you, but that does mean that it's surrounded by huge Gerudo Highlands, which is its only way of escape, but the narrow pathway out is so small that I don't think that the Divine Beast could get through there. So it's basically trapped in the desert. This is kind of a pro where it would be on the defensive at all times, but it would also be a con because if it needs to escape, it has nowhere to go. And last of all is Divine Beast Vah Medoh. This does have the Hebra region, which is very good for cover fire or to disguise itself. It's a nice place if it needed to rest for a little bit, to maybe recharge a bit. And the Tabantha region too is pretty flat for more of a battlefield area. So I think that this sums it up for the location. Next is mobility. Let's see Divine Beast Vah Ruta. Now this one can only go in the water, we've seen, so its only main way of travel is rivers. So the other Divine Beasts could cut it off at some areas, so there was no way of escape. And it's kind of risky going in the water, seeing that Divine Beasts could just crowd out all the river sources and it would be trapped. Now, let's go to the Divine Beast Vah Rudania. Now, this one is always climbing around Death Mountain, so it is very mobile. It can probably climb on different peaks, maybe even jump off if it needs to. So yes, Divine Beast Vah Rudania is very mobile. It can get onto jagged peaks, move around if it needs to, and it has the whole Akkala region behind it as a battlefield, or maybe just an area to hide in while the others fight it out. Then, Divine Beast Vah Naboris. Now this one has 4 main legs, so it can't really crawl up hills, it would need arms to do that, but it's also very big and those legs are very strong. It would be hard to knock it down, only to use bomb arrows, so it would be kind of hard knocking it down. The only way is maybe explosive cannons or arrows. I'll get to that in a little bit, but it's not that mobile. It is a little bit fast though. Seeing on the attack on Vah Naboris, it was kind of fast. And last of all, we have Divine Beast Vah Medoh, who easily defeats all the other Divine Beasts in the mobility aspect. Now this Divine Beast, it's flying, so it easily defeats all the land Divine Beasts. Seeing that it could fly, it could turn around peaks, move around, maybe do a nosedive if it needed to, so it could easily deflect or go around different shots from the other divine beasts. This is very useful, but this is also kind of a con too, where maybe if one of its wings got shot down, it would crash on the ground, which would kind of defeat it if it took too much of a hit, or if it was too high, it would probably die if it went too down. The last category for setting the stage is abilities. Let's start with Divine Beast Vahruta. Now, it can spray water and can make ice crystals fly at you and try and attack you. This is pretty cool, where they do pack a lot of damage, and it has some type of protective shield around it. If you go there before you do the Zora quest, it will kind of blow you off if you try and get too close to it. So that could probably be used for some defense, and it can use the ice crystals, which do pack a punch. Next, Divine Beast Varudania. Now, the only real attacks this one has is using the drone, but the drones would just signal to Rudania, and then I think it would use the volcano to fire some meteors. This would be cool, where it would probably attack other divine beasts. It would probably be staying around Death Mountain because it's most powerful there. And though meteors are not meteors, but fire rocks, they're pretty powerful. And next, Divine Beast Vondaboris. Now this one does have probably the most powerful abilities. It can bring down lightning blasts, which are very powerful, and overall the Divine Beast is pretty powerful and could probably take a lot of hits. And seeing that its lightning blast can stun enemies, I think Ruta, you ain't making it that long if you get in a fight with Naboris. Seeing that it can only go in water, Ruta, you're not gonna make it if you fight Naboris. Let's go to Divine Beast Vahmedo. Now this one does have a shield around it, and the only way to take the shield down is to attack the cannons that do pack a punch if they can hit you. Now these ones are kind of homing, like the Guardian blasters, so it'll probably be hard to evade them, and seeing that the Divine Beast can fly, its shots would kind of even be more accurate a bit, because it could always follow you. And the shield does, it doesn't matter how many hits you hit it, you have to destroy the cannons, and they are pretty small. So doing attacks like the ice crystals or the meteors, it can easily maneuver around them. So that's abilities. Let's get to the fight. Now it's time for the big battle of all 4 Divine Beasts. Of course, this doesn't count the Master Cycle Zero, and the huge blasts of power from the Divine Beasts will not be counted when you attack Calamity Ganon. So, the battle starts out when all 4 Divine Beasts are in their native locations where you find them in the game. Naboris in the desert, Sandstorm, Ruta is in East Reservoir Lake, Rudania is climbing around Death Mountain, and Meadow is flying around. Now, we can just guess that all of them want to fight each other, but then they all start in their native locations. Now, I think Vahruta is easily defeated, seeing that if Naboris can somehow escape the desert, the electric power of the lightning will easily defeat Ruta in the water, and if we're doing Pokemon physics, Ruta is kind of screwed when it comes to Naboris. And Rudania can climb and use Death Mountain to attack Ruta. Ruta does have a lot of rivers, but it's kind of outmatched, and Vahmedo, it can kind of circle, maybe hit it, and all the Divine Beasts can trap it. So I think that Ruta is kind of out of the match. It doesn't have the best abilities, and with its only source of mobility being the rivers, it can easily get cut off, and Ruta's not doing that great. And seeing Rudania, he has power, but he's trapped in the volcano area. So let's say I can see that Rudania and Meadow coming into contact first. Well, of course, Meadow being one of the first on the attack, seeing that it can fly, it would go faster. And seeing that Naboris can't leave Gerudo Desert and Ruta can't leave the river, I think that Rudania and Meadow would clash first. And personally, seeing the shield around Meadow, it's pretty protected when it comes to Rudania's fire rocks could easily hit it and make it fall off Death Mountain, and it could easily evade the falling rocks, and they would have to be some pretty accurate shots to beat its cannons. So I think that Meadow beats Rudania. Naboris would probably beat Rudania too, knowing that it could easily use its lightning blasts to knock it off the cliff or mountain it's hanging off of. And yeah, so I think that the final two contestants would be Divine Beast Von Meadow and Divine Beast Von Naboris. Now, they would be the last two probably coming in contact, seeing that Meadow would probably take out Rudania and Ruta, and so would Naboris. So Naboris has a huge thing of flat land, so I think that Naboris could easily take out Meadow if Meadow, its cannons got shot down. But we never really get to see how accurate its lightning blasts are. We just see that it hits you, it's a homing blast, but with the Thunder Helm you can evade it, and with Meadow being so agile, it could probably evade its lightning blast. So it kind of comes down to what happens first. If Meadow can hit Naboris' legs and disable it, then Meadow would win. If Naboris can take out its shields, then it would be easy for Naboris to win. It would just shoot down its wings. So I think it can kind of come to whatever happens first with Meadow or Naboris. There isn't a clear winner, but Rudania and Ruta are definitely out. And seeing these two coming into contact, it would kind of come down to just what happened first. If Naboris shot it down its shields, Naboris would win. Meadow shot on the legs, Meadow would win. So it kind of comes down to the accuracy of the shots and their agility. So yeah, that kind of sums it up. We'll go either way, Meadow or Naboris. I think those two are kind of the winners for this. Sorry, Rudania and Ruta, but I think Meadow and Naboris come out as the kings of the Divine Beasts. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Potato Sensei out. And that Mario Odyssey versus Breath of the Wild video, it's coming.